Good morning, everyone. We just ate the last of our fridge/freezer breakfast meals. So today I'm going to show you how to make 3 different breakfast meals that are great in the freezer and completely customizable. Okay, so we are going to start with our English muffins today. These are my favorite breakfast meals, actually. They're filling without being too filling, and I change up what I put in them so they don't get boring. I have 4 slices of salami left from just some deli meat that we had, so I'm going to use those up instead of bacon. I do use bacon bits, sausage. I use egg whites. You can add spinach, you can add vegetables, completely customizable, cheese, no cheese. You can use the rounds, those flat bread rounds, to save some calories. It's really up to you what you love, but they're great in the freezer and they heat up really well and quick. Again, for seasonings, really go for what you love. I love just a basic salt, pepper, and sometimes cayenne pepper in there. And then I might put a little bit of ketchup on in the morning. Okay, round 1 is complete of our breakfast sandwiches. You now have 6. Leave a couple out, throw them in the freezer, however you want to do it. Now we are going to make a couple wraps that are lower calorie, lower carb than our English muffin sandwiches. These are 4 net carbs, higher in fiber, only 70 calories per whole wrap. Not too bad for you. And we're just gonna do egg and cheese. Again, you can add any meat, any cheese, any vegetables, anything you like, but I'm keeping them very simple for the kids. And just if I'm not starving but need to have a little something for breakfast. So right now I am personally on a bit of a fitness journey, just trying to lose some weight after my second baby. It's been 3 years, but we won't talk about that. But since I started making this video, I went and found a 0 net carb, carb cutting tortillas by La Tortilla Factory. There's 8 in them. They're only 60 calories. There's 7 grams of protein, which is really what I'm trying to do, is up my protein. It keeps you fuller longer. It's better for you if you're working out at all, or even just walking, like anything, it's good to get better protein. So if you are not worried about carbs, calories, that sort of thing, feel free to use any sort of tortilla you want. I just find them to be a little less filling on the days that I'm not really that hungry, but I know I need to eat something for the day. And my kids absolutely love them with just cheese. You can maybe sneak some veggies in with your kids. They're just really handy to have on the go, and they freeze really, really well. Look at that, guys. The first step, the easiest ones are done. Now we're gonna move on to our breakfast pizza, which is much more involved, but worth it. Okay, so this is a recipe that I do not even attempt to make lower calorie. The only thing I've altered is the dough for more protein, and we'll get to that later, but you can use a pizza dough or a store-bought dough, anything that you prefer. Right now, all I have is sausage links, so I'm just gonna get those out of the casings, and I'll fry up the casings for my dogs for a little treat. But then I'm just gonna get this chopped up and cooked down, and then we can get going on making the rest of the sausage gravy portion, which is absolutely delicious and so comforting in the winter, or just on one of those days where you feel like you need a little bit of comfort food. So I will list all the ingredients here in a minute so that you can just take a screenshot or take a picture if you want. I find that pretty easy, but it starts out with 2 tablespoons of butter. I like mine extra garlicky, so I used minced garlic and garlic powder, salt, pepper. You need a little bit of flour to get it to really come together. You want it to be like not greasy, not runny at all. Once you see that the flour is really incorporated in there, Then you start adding in your milk, and then you can kind of set it and forget it until it kind of comes together. Okay, while our sausage gravy is coming together, I'm going to break and we're gonna make our dough, which is a lower calorie dough. And it's really, really good. You, of course, can use a regular pizza dough. I've seen people use the Pillsbury rolls rolled out. So our recipe is 1 cup of Greek yogurt to 1 cup of flour. I have only used all-purpose flour. Hold on, baby. I don't know how it would work with almond or coconut flour, but also last time I ended up needing 2 cups of flour, so we're gonna see how it works this time. Okay, so I'm gonna start right off the bat by telling you guys that I forgot to mention that it's not just all-purpose flour, it's a self-rising flour. So you can either buy it as a self-rising flour, or all it takes to turn all-purpose flour into self-rising flour is a baking powder and salt, which you will see me add in a little bit because I completely forgot. I'll also put that recipe here on the screen so that you have it. It's really simple to make, and I just love that this is higher protein. But again, feel free to use any sort of dough that you prefer. This is a very wet dough and it will stick to your hands really bad. So just get it to the point where it's workable, sort of like this. It's still going to be a wet dough, but that's okay. And you see me here adding in the ingredients that I forgot, which is crucial. This is what helps it puff up a little bit and not just be a nasty little cardboard piece. Okay, so our sausage gravy is done. Tasted it, it is delicious. Not low calorie or low carb, but some things you just gotta enjoy in life, right? So that is a little bit cooled. And this dough was a bit of a pain, but got it together. I think last time I used a different yogurt, which was probably the problem. And to why I had to use 2 cups of flour instead of 1. We're going to bake this for a little bit and make sure that it's coming out and cooking correctly before I put all of my other ingredients on it. Seems this is a little bit different than last time. So now we're gonna make our egg mixture for the top of our pizza. I personally like mine just a bit runny so that when it cooks into the pizza, it's not overly cooked. I'm only adding some cheese to it. Again, feel free to add in peppers, onions, any sort of vegetable, any sort of herb. I think that would really break up the savoriness too, and something I'm gonna try next. Also, you can bake your eggs like this for any of the 2 recipes I used before. It's one way to just kind of get it all done in one swoop. Oh yes. I am very happy with how this dough is turning out, so I'm gonna go ahead and get my ingredients on now. Another way to kind of get a bunch of eggs cooked quickly is to mix them all together into a like 8x8 pan, put it in your oven and bake it that way, and then you just slice it up and add it to your sandwiches or wraps. I like that as well. Sometimes you just don't want to stand over the stove and cook individually. I recommend putting a pan of water underneath. That will help keep the top layer of egg nice and moist and not dry out. But coming back to our breakfast pizza, it is looking so good. So you're just gonna layer the egg over, and then I top with a little bit of pepper and cayenne. I just love cayenne. I don't know if you're a spicy person or not, but you can add red pepper flake, all sorts of stuff on it just to kind of cut into how savory this is. And then we're gonna throw it back in the oven after I put a little cheese on top as well. I just pulled this out. It has been cooling for a little bit. My husband came by and ripped a chunk off and said it was delicious. So we're gonna get this sliced up and then everything into packages and into the freezer. We are gonna try a little sliver of this breakfast pizza. That will sure hit that comfort food craving 100%. All right, we got a little bit of our leftover sausage gravy in there. This is how I freeze my slices. Slice them up first and then freeze them just like that. That way they're not falling apart in the bag. It's a very like wet, kind of goopy in the best way possible pizza, so it's just one of the best ways I found to freeze them and not have them get destroyed. Treat time. This mama is gonna sit for a little bit. Just got my little one lunch. Everything is sectioned either into the freezer or into the refrigerator. It's perfect to dole out however you like. If you're single, if you have a whole family to feed, you figure out what works best for you as far as when to pull them out and things like that. Hopefully something in there was helpful to you, and I appreciate you guys watching so much. Thank you for all the likes and subscribes, and I will see you guys in the next video.